Right now, at 8 o'clock on Fox 50, you're seeing some heavy congestion on I-885 heading into Durham this morning. We'll tell you what happened and how to get around the slowdown.
We have a dense fog advisory in effect for another hour. It is affecting parts of our viewing area. I'll let you know if you'll run into it.
And calling for change. Teachers are protesting across Wake County this morning. The demands from educators and how this could impact students in the classroom today.
New video of a murder suspect, video appearing to show the moments before Ryan Camacho was arrested for the murder of a Raleigh teacher. What a woman nearby says she saw just before police took him into custody. WRAL News at 8 on Fox 50 starts in less than 30 seconds.
At Leith Honda in Raleigh and Auto Park Honda in Cary, we make your buying process easy. And with every new car purchase, you'll enjoy complimentary oil changes and exceptional service. It's no wonder we've earned so many 5-star reviews. You'll also get peace of mind pricing with every used vehicle, and if it's not the perfect fit, no problem. Bring it back within 3 days for an easy exchange. Visit our showroom at Auto Park Honda in Cary or Leith Honda in Raleigh. It's easier here.
Live from WRAL News headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Glad you're with us this morning at 8:01. Of course, we have that breaking news on I-885 in Durham. We'll get to that in just a minute, but we've got some fog out there as well. Lots to share with you in this hour. I'm Ken Smith.
And I'm Laura Levine. And speaking of that fog advisory, meteorologist Elizabeth Gartner tracking everything you need to know as you're heading out the door today.
The bulk of the fog seems to be in our southern counties, around Fayetteville, possibly Clinton, definitely around Southern Pines. You could see it in some spots, definitely some low cloud cover across the western part of the Triad right now, but the fog seems to be a little less dense there. But quarter-mile visibility in Fayetteville and Clinton. We've seen some very foggy cameras down around Southern Pines. This is a look at Fayetteville, where the visibility is down to a quarter of a mile. Definitely looking foggy there, too. Our temperatures this morning, much warmer than yesterday, mostly mid-40s to low 50s. A southwest wind at 3 miles per hour, which, of course, will increase as we get through the day and really help to push that warm air in. It's 53 in Fayetteville and Southern Pines, 45 in Roxborough, but 50 now in South Hill, as well as Rocky Mount and Wilson. It's a quick warm-up, 67 at lunchtime, so you might decide to spend some of your lunch hour outside. Should be beautiful. And then a high of 71 this afternoon. After a little cool down tomorrow, we could end up with some record highs later in the week. I'll show you, Ken.
Well, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, right back to that breaking news on I-885. These are the lanes heading into Durham this morning. There was a crash on 885 in those lanes right near the Ellis Road exit. So here's what you're looking at, because there's heavy congestion in both directions on 885 this morning. So if you're heading into Durham this morning, you're looking at a 22-minute delay. So if that's part of your morning commute, you're on I-40 westbound, you might want to get off on the Miami Boulevard exit and work your way into Durham this morning. If you're leaving Durham, you're looking at a 32-minute delay because there's a heavy congestion starting at the Durham Freeway 885 interchange, stretching all the way back to Highway 70. So Highway 70 is actually your best bet if you're leaving Durham this morning. Down in Garner, we've got this situation brewing on the Highway 70 in the westbound lanes near the Vandora Springs Road exit. It's causing some huge delays stretching all the way back to Benson Road. You might want to use Garner Road or that main road through town there in Garner as an alternate route, and just avoid Highway 70 for right now. That northern loop of the Beltline heavily congested this morning. There's the usual morning congestion that we see sometimes in that northern loop. You're looking at maybe a 5 to 6 minute delay. The other trouble spot, you're coming in from Nightdale. It's a 5-minute delay. That's not going to make you late, but we're seeing the usual congestion that we do on this time of the morning coming in out of Wake Forest. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Okay, Ken, thank you. Teachers in our area today are rallying for better pay and health care. There will be demonstrations at several key intersections across Wake County. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live in Raleigh for us, where one of those protests is expected to happen soon. And Kelsey, as we know, people are beginning to show up now.
Yes, Laura, people started showing up here at the intersection of Capitol Boulevard and Old Wake Forest Road about 15 minutes ago. So you can see them holding their signs here. We were able to talk to Wake schools within the last 30 minutes or so. They say that although that they're expecting to have several call outs today, they should be covered as far as classrooms, because right now they say they have a 92% fill-in rate. So let's talk about what these protesters are demanding. They're asking for higher pay for advanced degrees, a cap on healthcare premium increases, unfreezing experience pay increases, and they're also asking for the restoration of health benefits when teachers retire. So we spoke with one of these teachers who's participating in today's call out. She says not paying teachers for their advanced degrees or experience will discourage people from joining the field.
When you start to nitpick all these things away, it's like, who's going to enter into this field? You know, if I had a daughter, I don't think I would recommend going into education just because of how bad things are.
Organizers say that they're expecting at least 250 teachers to call out today. I was able to speak with one of the teachers earlier this morning. She says that she works at Fox Road Elementary, and at her school alone, they have 17 call outs. So we'll be sure to keep you updated on all of these protests that are happening throughout the county. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
We're following some breaking news out of Fayetteville this morning. Police are investigating a crash that happened earlier this morning. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker at West Mountain Drive and Gillespie Street. We're still trying to find out what led up to the crash and if anyone was injured in that situation.
Raleigh police are looking for 2 men after they say a gun went off during an attempted traffic stop. Police say Jose Collado and Norvell Young are both on the run this morning. Collado is wanted on weapons charges and resisting an officer. Young is wanted on a charge of felony flee to elude arrest. This all happened yesterday afternoon at New Bern Avenue and Beacon Lake Drive. Police say officers were attempting to pull over a car when Collado got out with a gun and ran away. Police say Collado dropped the gun during the chase and it went off. Police say Young was still in the car and drove away. Nobody was hurt, and Highway Patrol is assisting with this search.
Happening today, we're expecting to get answers from Rocky Mount leaders about issues involving people's utility bills. WRAL's Ali Calabar has been following this story. And Ali, several people have reached out to us saying that they received 2 bills in a short period of time.
And Ken, they're telling us they're frustrated, and this comes as the state auditor's office is investigating the city's financial troubles. Those troubles causing an increase in natural gas and electricity rates. And today, people who live in Rocky Mount are hoping to get answers on another issue with their bills. And we saw people address those issues at the Rocky Mount Business Services Center earlier this week. Residents tell us they were frustrated and confused when they got their most recent utility bill. It showed they owed double what they usually pay. In a statement last week, a spokesperson for the city said the typical 30-day payment window was inadvertently extended for some customers. They say to correct that, it led to back-to-back bills, but no one was paying over. Residents say they disagree.
They're claiming to switch it from a 60-day pay period to a 30-day pay period, but we've been paying every month. So that doesn't make sense. That doesn't calculate.
Now, Rocky Mount Council member Tom Harris shared a statement with us. Says, I'm hoping this meeting will offer a clear explanation of exactly what happened or what transpired. Now, that special called meeting is this afternoon at 2. WRAL will be there. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Calabar, WRAL News.
Well, new this morning, the FAA is investigating after a tire blowout at Atlanta's airport. This happened late last night. The plane was landing in Atlanta from Lima, Peru. The FAA says the tires blew out on the rear landing gear after the landing. It appears that nobody was hurt. The FAA is looking into what caused that blowout.
This morning, we are learning about the moments just before Ryan Camacho was arrested by Raleigh police. Camacho is accused of murdering Ravenscroft teacher Zoe Welsh over the weekend. Take a look at this. This is security video that was shared with WRAL that appears to show Camacho just 2 hours after Welsh was killed. The video was captured just minutes before he was arrested on Whittaker Mill Road. The murder happened about a mile away on Clay Street. A neighbor who spotted Camacho says he didn't seem to be in a hurry.
He kind of caught my eye, not in a good way. And then the dog next door barked at him, and he stopped and leaned over the fence and spit on the dog, which I thought was disturbing behavior.
We're also getting a first look at posts Camacho seems to have made 7 years ago on Nextdoor. An account matching his name, location, and appearance commented after one neighbor experienced a burglary in the 5 Points area. The comment reading in part, "Be careful leaving your home when you go to work. They like to break in when they see someone leaving the driveway. They also like to break into homes in broad daylight."
Well, today we'll hear from Carolina Panthers coaches and players as they are preparing for their playoff matchup against the Los Angeles Rams. Back in November, the Panthers upset the Rams at Bank of America Stadium. The team will need another clutch performance from quarterback Bryce Young Saturday. He says he's ready for his NFL playoff debut.
Great opportunity. Super excited. And then now it's about, making something out of it. We have to make sure, today was a good start, but we have to make sure that we're dialed into the process. We have elite focus throughout the week to give us ourselves the best chance this weekend.
You can watch that game right here on Fox 50. Saturday's kickoff is scheduled for 4:30 in the afternoon. Our coverage will get started Friday as well. Ashley Rowe, Pat Welter, Chris Lee, and Sean Gallagher will be in Charlotte ahead of the big game. And, of course, in the next hour here on Fox 50, we'll break it all down with 99.9 The Fan's Tim Donnelly in our Panthers Talk. 8:11 now, our news continues. Brothers killed in Fayetteville, a community mourning after shooting at a popular restaurant. Our people are dealing with the unexpected loss.
And trial delayed. The case against a former Uvalde school officer is taking an unexpected turn after the first day of testimony. Why the judge has to figure out what comes next today.
Skies are mostly clear here on the weather patio, but there is a dense fog advisory in effect for parts of the viewing area. I'll show you where you might run into some.
Another look at some of the demonstrations that's happening involving Wake County school teachers there in Fuquay Arena. We're keeping an eye on intersections all across Wake County as teachers call for better pay and more benefits.
Checking out that dense fog advisory. It is in effect for most of the viewing area, Smithfield and Raleigh, all the way down to Fayetteville, up toward Roxborough and Henderson, and then back over toward the Triad. We're not looking at a lot of widespread fog, but the bulk of it is really, at least in the last hour, been in our southern counties, especially Pinehurst. You can still see somebody on the golf course there, but a lot of fog there, especially around Pinehurst and Southern Pines too. And you can see there in the white, sort of gray shaded area, that's where you're more likely to run into the fog. Fayetteville's at quarter of a mile, Clinton's at about 1/10 of a mile or so. And we've started to see some improvement really from the Triangle area northward where we're clearing out nicely. As a matter of fact, right now, the cloud cover forecast for the next couple of hours is really only about 30 to 40%. And then later this afternoon, we really brighten things up and see a lot of sunshine everywhere. Heading out for exercise, temperatures will start to climb into the low 50s here over the next hour or so. And by the time we get to lunchtime, we're at almost 70. It's going to be a great day for outdoor exercise. Coming up, I'll let you know when you may be dealing with some showers.
What's been happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center? We're staying on top of this situation on I-885. These are the lanes heading into Durham this morning. There was a crash on 885 near the Ellis Road exit, causing huge delays. So here's what we're looking at, because the delays in both directions. Right now, if you're heading into Durham this morning, you're looking at a 30-minute delay. If you're leaving Durham, you're looking at a 22-minute delay. So if you're on I-40 westbound heading into Durham, 885 is part of your commute, you might want to get off on Miami Boulevard as an alternate route. I'll have another update in less than 10 minutes.
Ken, thank you. Right now, police are asking for information in the shooting deaths of two brothers at a restaurant in Fayetteville. This as we're learning more about the victims, Timothy and Daniel Nakamoto. That shooting happened at North McPherson Church Road on Saturday night. Officers said the two brothers were shot after an argument escalated into a fight. A person of interest was detained, but police are still investigating. Now the family and friends of Timothy and Daniel Nakamoto are trying to make sense of all of this.
The notion of, like, why do bad things happen to good people, and that becoming so close to home, it's like you just never expected that it would be that close to home.
Police are encouraging anyone who was around during the time of the shooting to contact them. The White House says that President Trump is also discussing options for acquiring Greenland and that using the U.S. military is not off the table. The White House press secretary says the president views acquiring Greenland as a national security priority. The president has been outspoken about Greenland since taking office last year. Greenland is a self-governing territory of Denmark and is a NATO nation. European leaders have been vocally against Trump on this issue. And the Prime Minister of Denmark says a U.S. military attack on Greenland would effectively end NATO.
With testimony in the trial of a former Uvalde school police officer is being called off today, the judge telling jurors not to come to the courthouse today. Adrian Gonzalez is facing charges in connection to his response to that deadly shooting back in 2022 at Robb Elementary. The judge's order was made after a former teacher shared details in her testimony the defense says they did not know. The DA says she was surprised by the testimony. The judge is expected to meet with attorneys today to discuss how to move forward.
Well, parts of Hawaii were under a winter storm warning this week, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was snowing on the beach. Meteorologist Chris Michaels shows us why snow in parts of the Aloha State is fairly common.
Yeah, especially because of the terrain, right? So you look at Mauna Kea from the observatory just yesterday, and you could see all the snow. So that winter storm warning that was previously in effect, it definitely verified. The forecast there was 5 to 10 inches of snow and ice included. But here's the thing. Again, you think of Hawaii, you think of paradise, but both these volcanoes, they peak above 13,000 feet above sea level. So they get their fair share of blizzards, ice and snow, but the setup has to be just right. And in Hawaii, they get this seasonal storm that's called a Kona low. So Kona means the leeward side of a mountain, which is usually dry. But if you get the right wind direction coming up out of the south, that air actually rises up the mountains and creates snow, much like you would see mountain snow here. Now, we see a lot more in the continental U.S. This is what we've seen so far this winter. Notice that so much of the snow has been just to our north. So we're explaining this U.S. snowpack and recent snow trends in North Carolina. That's right now on the homepage of WRAL.com. You'll see it labeled as Ask the Meteorologist there.
Oh, Chris, thanks for that knowledge. Well, looking ahead, Raleigh Convention Center leaders hope to start hosting events again this month. This comes a little more than a month after a fire broke out on the roof. It caused an estimated $2 million in damage. In an update to City Council yesterday, Convention Center officials say they expect to get occupancy certification in the next few days. Once that happens, they can start hosting events. The council also approved a temporary resolution to give the city manager the authority to approve contracts during the recovery period.
A group of Buddhist monks who are walking for peace are now in South Carolina. They've been walking for more than 2 months on their way from Texas to Washington, D.C. They've amassed a following of more than 7,000 people on Facebook and thousands on TikTok as well. They are expected to pass through Raleigh later this month. Well, now it's time to get another check on the local forecast here with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner out there on the weather patio. Good morning, Elizabeth.
Good morning. It's really nice out here right now. Not as cold as it was yesterday. It's nice to have this jacket on, but I can tell probably in a few hours, I'm going to want to just have to shed the top layer here. Dense fog advisory is in effect. Again, we'll just take a quick look at it again from, say, Smithfield to Raleigh to Fayetteville, all the way up toward Roxborough and westward. In Fayetteville, we have seen some fog. Visibility is low there. However, you're not having any trouble driving. Mostly this is sort of halfway between low cloud cover and fog, so you'll run into a little bit of that. Our temperatures really haven't warmed up too much because of that layer of low cloud cover and fog, but we'll definitely see a faster warm up as we get close to lunchtime. Our next weather maker arrives over the weekend. We're going to see a chance of rain late Saturday night, maybe into early Sunday, but it looks like it's going to move out pretty quickly. In the meantime, we'll see near record warmth on Friday and Saturday. Here's a look at that front coming through, and we're expecting that front to bring some stormy conditions, say along the Gulf Coast and along the Mississippi Valley. As that slides eastward, it's going to lose some of its energy. No severe weather here. As a matter of fact, the rain may be fairly light. Another thing you'll notice behind this front, we're going to get a big blast of colder air, so we're right back to winter. Enjoy our little sneak peek of spring. It'll only last a few days. Let's check out Friday again, and you can see some cloud cover. I wouldn't expect it to be terribly sunny on Friday. It'll be warm. There may be some breaks in the clouds on and off. There could be a light sprinkle. Then we get into Saturday, same story, likely to be on the cloudier side. The rain doesn't really pick up until pretty late in the afternoon, maybe closer to sunset, right through the middle of the viewing area around 7, and then by midnight it starts to cruise on out of here. So 40% chance Saturday. We left a 30% chance on Sunday just to cover what may linger into early Sunday morning. Really only looking at about 1/4 of an inch of rain to end the drought that we have. We would need 4 to 6 inches in 1 month. Certainly we're not going to see it this month. It doesn't look like it anyway. This is just going to be 1/4 of an inch for us. Once we get to Sunday, temperatures will start mild but drop through the day.
All right, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, still slow going on these I-885 lanes heading into Durham this morning. There's a crash earlier near the Ellis Road exit that's causing some huge backup. So here's what you're looking at, because we have congestion in both directions on 885. You're heading into Durham this morning, you're looking at a 15-minute delay. If you're leaving Durham, you're looking at a 21-minute delay, because right around the Durham Freeway, 885 interchange stretching all the way back to Highway 70, you got quite the slowdown there. So depending on where you are, you might want to use Highway 70 as an alternate route. If you're heading into Durham this morning, you're on I-40 westbound, you might want to get off on Miami Boulevard as an alternate route. That northern loop of the Beltline, we're still seeing some heavy congestion as well. That's a usual morning congestion that we see this time of the morning, but you're just looking at a 7-minute delay at this hour.
Your time now is 8:23. Saving in the new year. 5 on your side has the best deals you can expect after the holiday shopping rush. Plus, teacher protests in Wake County. Giving you a live look now at US 401 in Fuquay-Varina. You can see crowds of people there lining up. The demands for change from educators in our area.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. The time now is 8:26. I'm Laura Levine. Let's get right over to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner out on the weather patio.
We have that dense fog advisory. Of course, you can see behind me that we're looking good right here in the triangle, at least right near downtown. But from Fayetteville to Roxborough, from Smithfield back toward the Triad, there's the potential for fog. Most of it right now in our southern counties, especially Southern Pines and Fayetteville. We're seeing some fog showing up on the camera. Here's Pinehurst again, really socked in. But I would give it an hour, and that should be it. We should have beautiful weather for today. If you can get out and about at lunchtime, temperatures will be in the upper 60s. We'll see 71 under mostly sunny skies this afternoon.
Elizabeth, we're staying on top of that heavy congestion that we're seeing on I-885 heading into Durham this morning. There was a crash earlier right near the Ellis Road exit there in Durham, causing huge delays. So we're seeing some delays in both directions on 885. You're heading into Durham this morning, you're looking at a 14-minute delay. You might want to get off on Miami Boulevard if you're on I-40 westbound trying to get to Durham. You're leaving Durham this morning, you're looking at a 19-minute delay because there's some heavy congestion between the Durham Freeway interchange with 885 stretching all the way back to Highway 70. Highway 70 is actually a best alternate route.
Happening right now, teachers in our area are rallying for better pay and health care. There are demonstrations happening at several key intersections across Wake County. You're taking a live look at Raleigh and Fuquay-Varina on the right. Organizers say at least 250 teachers plan to call out today. Wake School says they don't anticipate any disruptions for the school day. Fayetteville police are investigating a crash that happened earlier this morning. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker at West Mountain Drive and Gillespie Street. We're still trying to find out what led up to the crash and if there were any injuries. And next on Fox 50, Rocky Mount leaders are meeting today after people reported issues with their utility bills.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Demanding change. Dozens of Wake County teachers are set to call out and protest today as you're taking a live look at some of those protests currently underway. What these educators are asking state lawmakers to change.
Also, special meeting today. The answers we're expecting to get from the city of Rocky Mount about issues with people's utility bills.
And we have bright skies here on the patio, but in some places we're still dealing with some fog. I'll let you know if you'll run into it on your commute.
It is certainly a busy start to your Wednesday morning. We're going to get you caught up here. I'm Laura Levine. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Ken Smith. So let's go ahead and get right back out to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner on the WRAL weather patio because you're tracking some foggy conditions in our area.
We are. The dense fog advisory does expire in 30 minutes, but we're still seeing some foggy conditions, especially around Southern Pines, over toward Fayetteville and Clinton. Really from, say, Sanford and Lillington northward, we're looking pretty good right now. Definitely here on the patio, seeing lots of sunshine. Quarter-mile visibility in Fayetteville, that is the threshold that we would consider it fog. And notice we don't see any of that anywhere on the sensors. And that band of fog or low cloud cover continues to drift southward. So from Fayetteville through Clinton to just south of Goldsboro is where you're more likely to see some fog. Not necessarily foggy in Fayetteville. This looks like low cloud cover because you can see all the way over toward Hay Street from the museum there. 47 is our temperature in the Triangle, and we do have a light wind coming out of the southwest right now. Our temperatures will continue to warm up nicely. It's already 53 in Fayetteville and in Clinton. We're looking at 50 in Rocky Mount, 46 in Roxborough. Looking beautiful by lunchtime. We should have sunshine across the viewing area. We'll climb into the low 70s. We do have the chance of some rain for part of the weekend, but it's not a washout. We'll take a look coming up.
And happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center, we're staying on top of that situation of I-885. This heavy congestion running into the Durham this morning because there was a crash earlier near the Ellis Road exit that's in the clearing phase, but you can still see the huge congestion it's causing. If you're heading into Durham this morning, you're looking at a 15-minute delay. So if you're on I-40 westbound, 885 is part of your commute, I would recommend getting off on Miami Boulevard. If you're leaving Durham this morning because of the heavy congestion between the Durham Freeway 885 interchange stretching all the way back to Highway 70, boy, I'll tell you, Highway 70 is your best bet if you're coming into the Raleigh area. That northern loop of the Beltline, this is the usual morning congestion that we see if we look live at I-440 and New Bern Avenue. The westbound lanes moving away from us right now. You're looking at a 9-minute delay because once you get past the Capitol Boulevard exit, it's clear sailing all the way over to Wade Avenue. So as we widen out the view and look at some other major routes coming into the Raleigh-Wade County area, we're seeing some congestion building between Wade Avenue and Airport Boulevard. You're looking at a 4-minute delay, just a 5-minute delay if you're coming in on US 1 from Wake Forest, just a 4-minute delay for our friends in Nightdale. You're coming in on I-87, those southbound lanes. You're getting ready to head into the car, though. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Ken, thank you. Happening today, teachers in our area are rallying for better pay and health care. Right now, you're taking a live look at demonstrators at US 401 and Highway 55 in Fuquay Arena. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live on Capitol Boulevard in North Raleigh now, where another protest is happening. And Kelsey, we can see dozens of people there behind you.
Laura, people started showing up here within the last 30 minutes or so, so we'll give you a live look at some of these teachers who have called out of work this morning, protesting for several things here. They're at the intersection of Capitol Boulevard and Old Wake Forest Road. So they're demanding higher pay for advanced degrees, a cap on healthcare premium increases, unfreezing experience pay increases, and the restoration of health benefits for when teachers retire. Now, I was able to speak with a couple of these teachers here who say that they work at Fox Road Elementary. They say at their school alone, they've had 17 call-outs. Organizers for this call out say at least 250 teachers plan to call out today. So we spoke with one of the teachers who's protesting, who says that she's been teaching at Wake County schools for the last 22 years, and she's experienced some issues herself, but she feels really bad for the next generation.
And I feel really sorry. We're trying to recruit new teachers, and the new teachers who get hired now do not have health benefits when they retire. And I know when I retire, I'll have probably 5 to 6 years before Medicaid will kick in, and I'll need that health insurance, and they will not have that.
Now, as far as classrooms, this morning we did reach out to Wake Schools, and they say that they have a 92% fill-in rate for substitute teachers. So this is something that should not disrupt anything that's going on in the classroom, but we'll be sure to let you know what's going on here as more people show up. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And we are following breaking news out of Fayetteville this morning. Police are investigating a crash that happened earlier this morning. You're looking at video from the WRAL breaking news tracker at West Mountain Drive and Gillespie Street. We're still trying to find out what led up to this crash and if there were any injuries.
Raleigh police are looking for 2 men after they say a gun went off during an attempted traffic stop. Police say Jose Collado and Norvell Young are both on the run this morning. Collado is wanted on weapons charges and resisting an officer. Young is wanted on a charge of felony flee to elude arrest. This all happened yesterday afternoon at New Bern Avenue and Beacon Lake Drive, I should say. Police say officers were attempting to pull over that car those two men were in when Collado got out of that vehicle, dropped the gun, and it went off. And he ran away, by the way. Police say Collado dropped that gun during that chase. Police say Young was still in the car. He drove off. No one was hurt. The State Highway Patrol is assisting with this search.
Deputies are investigating after someone shot into a home in Wake County. The sheriff's office responded to reports of shots being fired around 7 last night on Barrington Drive near Southeast Raleigh. When they got there, they found a bullet hole in a home. Nobody was hurt.
Well, today we're expecting to get answers from Rocky Mount leaders about issues with everyone's utility bills. WRAL's Ellie Cadlebar has been following this story all morning long. She reports on people receiving two bills in the same pay period. Ali.
And Ken, people are telling us they're frustrated, and this all comes as the state auditor's office is investigating the city's financial troubles. Those financial troubles leading to an increase in natural gas and electricity rates. Today, people who live in Rocky Mount are hoping to get answers on why their utility bills are back to back. Now, this video shows residents lined up at the Rocky Mount Business Services Center earlier this week. Residents tell us they were frustrated and confused when they got their most recent utility bill showing they owe double what they usually pay. In a statement last week, a spokesperson for the city said that the typical 30-day payment window was inadvertently extended for some customers. They say to correct that, it led to back-to-back bills, but no one was overpaying. Residents tell us they want more clarity.
I wouldn't mind that much paying it if they could give me a good reason why I am paying it.
And Rocky Mount Mayor Sandy Robertson took to social media with the statement, saying, quote, "It is clear why residents are upset. I don't blame you, but we'll get some clearer answers for everyone during this special called meeting." Now, this special called meeting is this afternoon at 2. WRAL will be there asking these questions. How long was this payment window extended? What led up to it being extended? And how many people were affected? Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Cadlebar, WRAL News.
Bring you here into the WRAL Live Center to show you this video that came across the feeds within the past few minutes. This is from Michigan, specifically Romulus, Michigan, where investigators say a man was arrested after he was accused of trying to enter a school with a firearm. You see these officers walking up to this person right here over toward the right. They have their hands up, and at some point you'll see them drop down to their knees. But investigators are saying this happened yesterday outside a middle school there in Michigan. Police confirmed they did arrest a 44-year-old man outside the school after they were being called to the scenes there of what they said was an active shooter. Again, this was yesterday, and a handgun was recovered. And let me just kind of fast forward just a little bit further to show the moment where they actually put him in the back of a squad vehicle there. But again, knowing what we know about these kind of cases that tend to play out across America, certainly that law enforcement was able to intercede with that situation. That's the kind of outcome that they want to see.
Chris, thank you. New video and pictures are giving us a closer look at the man accused of murdering Raleigh teacher here, Zoe Welsh. Ryan Camacho is accused of breaking into the Ravenscroft school teacher's house and attacking her. She later died at the hospital. This security video now that you see on your screen shows Camacho just 2 hours after the reported break-in. He was arrested moments later by Raleigh police at the intersection of Whitaker Mill Road and Pine Drive. This is pictures appearing to show Camacho in custody. He was taken by a neighbor. That picture was taken by a neighbor, that is. She says that when she spotted him walking down the street, her first instinct was to get inside.
He kind of caught my eye, not in a good way. And then the dog next door barked at him. I'm glad I did that, and I am super thankful that he just walked right by.
We're also getting a look at posts Camacho seems to have made 7 years ago on Nextdoor. An account matching his name, location, and appearance commented after a home was broken into in the 5 Points area. It reads, "Be careful leaving your home when you go to work." They like to break in when they see someone leaving the driveway. They also like to break into homes in broad daylight. You can count on WRAL to keep asking questions and covering any new developments in this case. You'll find all of our reporting on this story on WRAL.com and the WRAL News app.
New this morning, the Trump administration is withholding funding for child care programs in 5 states over concerns about fraud. The funds help to subsidize daycare for low-income families, among other things. The Department of Health and Human Services requiring 5 Democratic-led states to provide extra documentation to access those funds. New York's governor says she is prepared to take the administration to court.
Today, the State Board of Education will hear a proposal for new standards in English classes. They would expand reading and writing requirements to include poetry and even audio texts. The proposed changes also emphasize that texts will be complex. The board is set to hear and potentially discuss the proposal at 10 a.m. They're scheduled to vote on the changes tomorrow.
NC State's basketball team got a win last night at Boston College. The Wolfpack led by 8 at halftime against the Eagles, holding on for a 79-71 win. The next game will be Saturday afternoon at Florida State. Duke had to come from behind to beat Louisville last night in a top 20 matchup. The Blue Devils trailed as much as 12 points in the first half, but Duke was able to rally down the stretch for an 84-73 win. They'll host SMU Saturday at 2 p.m. at Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Your time now is 8:42. We have much more news ahead here. Saving big in the new year. 5 on Your Side shares the best deals you can expect after the holiday rush.
And our Teacher of the Week strives to get her students to love reading as much as she does. We'll introduce you to this English teacher living out her childhood dream in the classroom.
And teacher protests in Wake County, giving you a live look at demonstrations across Raleigh and Fuquay Arena, the demands for change from educators in our area.
And dense fog advisory in effect really just for a short time, but we still have a good bit of fog, especially in Southern Pines and down around Fayetteville. So Cumberland County, Moore County, that's where you're more likely to run into it. Really not seeing much from the Triangle area northward at this point. So a lot of us don't really have to worry about that travel. But again, even though Southern Pines is showing up at 5-mile visibility, those cameras show a different story. And a quarter of a mile in Fayetteville, definitely fog. Here's a look at Pinehurst. You see what I'm saying? I mean, you can kind of pick out the resort there off in the distance through the fog, and that fog is going to dissipate pretty quickly for us. Our temperatures are cool. We're still upper 40s to low 50s, which is a lot warmer than yesterday, but still jacket weather this morning. The sunshine will warm us up nicely into the low 70s for this afternoon. I'll show you when we could see record highs.
Well, Elizabeth, happening now in the W Traffic Center. Boy, that's heavy congestion still on I-885. Those lanes heading into Durham this morning. A crash near the Ellis Road exit, still causing some lingering delays. That crash is probably in the clearing phase, but congestion on both sides of the aisle in terms of 885. You're heading into Durham right now. You're looking at a 10-minute delay. Really, nothing is going to make you late. You're leaving Durham, about a 7-minute delay. At one point, that was up to 45 minutes. So things are getting better on 885.
Okay, Ken, thank you. January is usually a quieter month for sales, but there are still a few smart ways to save if you know where to look. 5 on Your Side's Ashley Rowe breaks down the best deals you can expect this month.
After the holiday rush, many of the deep discounts in November and December disappear. That's why it's especially important for shoppers to know what to expect. Consumer Reports closely monitors pricing trends throughout the year and has shopping tips on what big ticket items go on sale each month.
It's going to be a little bit of a dearth of deals and discounts for a little while, but there are still some opportunities to save.
MLK Weekend is the biggest sales event of the month, and it's especially good for shoppers looking to replace large appliances. CR says that includes washers, dryers, dishwashers, and refrigerators. And if you're shopping for a refrigerator, CR has found that top freezers are more reliable than other types of refrigerators, including that coveted French door style. MLK Weekend is also a great time to snag a deal on a mattress, with major brands offering meaningful discounts along with other items to help you sleep better.
There will be a lot of bedding sales, so sheets and pillows and duvets, anything you'll need to enhance your bedroom.
CR says the best pillows stabilize your neck and align it with the rest of your body. The right bedding is also key. Look for sheets in breathable fabrics like 100% cotton or linen. CR says to be on the lookout for retailers and fitness brands that may offer special promotions, not just on products themselves, but subscriptions and memberships as well.
All right, our thanks to Ashley for that report. Today, the town of Holly Springs will celebrate the opening of the first segment of its road widening project. There's a ribbon cutting ceremony at 11 a.m. The project connects local traffic to the recently opened NC 540 corridor. It will add a 4-lane roundabout and a new bridge. There will also be new pedestrian activated traffic signals near the elementary and middle school complex.
Our teacher of the week always knew she wanted to be a teacher and have a career in education ever since she was a little girl. Now, each day she gets to live out that childhood dream as an English teacher at Northway College Career Academy.
If I'm acquainted with something, then I'm familiar with it.
Monica Perdomo's story of becoming a teacher reads like a novel that's about passion, resilience, and dedication.
Flitting? What was the sentence for it?
After earning a college scholarship to become a teacher, she chose English as her focus because of her love of reading.
It's a lifelong skill that helps no matter what the kids choose to do in life, they have to read. So I think this is the most effective subject area, and that's what I've been doing. In your opinion, is this a long article, short article, mid?
Perdomo says every time she walks into her classroom and has the opportunity to share the joys of English literature with her students or discuss a book they've recently read, it gives her hope.
It's about navigating information and connecting with it and learning to interpret it and have a voice about it. So when they are engaged in actually reading, when you can get high schoolers to read, that's the best feeling.
Her passion for English lit is matched only by her background in dance. As a former dance instructor, movement is like words in motion she shares with her students.
Last year when we did the Hispanic Heritage Fair, I was actually the instructor teaching the whole school how to dance bachata. So dance is a part of it. Just those interpersonal skills, which I think our kids need, and then reading, it all comes together.
Ms. Perdomo, you are WRAL's Teacher of the Week. Give her a big round of applause. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Her students were so happy for her. Now, if you'd like to nominate a teacher, go to WRAL.com, enter Teacher of the Week in the search box.
All right, well, now it's time to get a check on the forecast with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. We are seeing some beautiful views out there. Elizabeth, I know you're tracking the latest for us with that dense fog advisory as well.
We are. We're going to start off taking a look at Fayetteville because this is one of the areas where we're seeing some low clouds. The difference between low cloud cover and fog is a cloud that sits on the ground. And so we wouldn't be able to see that church over on Hay Street if it was foggy. But you can definitely tell that, it's kind of murky looking over there. We have low cloud cover there in Fayetteville. That low cloud cover will burn off pretty quickly. Of course, the dense fog advisory ends just in 10 minutes. Right now it is 8:52. And so just a few more minutes left on that advisory. 47 is our temperature. The squiggly lines underneath that cloud are the symbol for fog there at RDU. And so still reporting some at RDU, but I tell you what, we are almost clear as a bell right here on the patio. There are just a few high, thin clouds. We're going to have a gorgeous day. So dense fog advisory definitely over shortly. In Fayetteville, we're recording quarter-mile visibility, which we typically would consider to be fog. But again, when we look at that camera, it doesn't look too bad. All right, temperatures are in the upper 40s and low 50s. 53 in Fuquay-Varina. It's 50 in Apex, 49 in Garner, 50 in Rollsville right now. And these temperatures are so much warmer than yesterday, anywhere from 6 to 8 to about 10 to 15 degrees warmer in most places. We will see a front swinging through today. Behind it, we're a little bit cooler for tomorrow, but another front approaches and really bumps up our temperature for Friday and Saturday. This afternoon, feeling great out there in the low 70s, sunshine, get outside and enjoy it. And it's not just us. Look at this huge, big warm air mass that's crossing the country, and that's going to help to bump up our temperatures. 71 today, a little cooler, 65 tomorrow, then 72 for Friday and 74 on Saturday. We're not going to hit the record today. It's 75, but we could tie the record on Friday and again on Saturday with those mid 70s. We have a chance of rain late on Saturday.
We have more news to go here. Before we go to break, though, let's give you a live look at Raleigh and Fuquay-Varina, where Wake County teachers are calling out to protest. What these educators are asking state lawmakers to do.